Box art. Who doesn't like box art? We're visual creatures, so to buy anything, we need a picture of said thing on it. The more pizzazz and coolness the thing has, the more you want to buy it. This applies to video games, but in this video specifically, we'll be looking at video game box art. A good amount of my favorite box art comes from the PS1. The PS1 made a big deal about having attitude and being the next big thing, and I think that the cover art of the console reflects that heavily. First off, the original Resident Evil. Despite what people say, I generally love the art for this game's cover because of how expressive it is of the game itself. It's able to tell you what the game is about just by looking at it. Chris is seen backed into a corner, with shadows of spiders and other monsters looming over him. His expression is split between the shock of the horrors in front of him and the unwavering drive for survival against these unholy creations. He clutches his rifle against his chest, preparing to fight through the worst night of his life. Survival, horror. And boom! You already know what the premise of the game is. The artist, Bill Sienkiewicz, has a huge portfolio of comics and a bunch of other stuff he worked on. He did Batman, Daredevil, X-Men, and even the album cover for Man on the Moon by Kid Cudi. I actually learned so much from making these stupid videos, I love it so much. His art has that hazy, faded look that I'm a big fan of. Reminds me of Arkham Asylum's Serious House on Serious Earth, one of my favorite Batman comics. Next up, we got Final Fantasy VII. This one is so iconic. It's as timeless as the game itself. It's been remade, redrawn, parodied. Basically, it's one of the greats. You feel a sense of grandeur and unchartedness when you look at it. Like you're about to experience something you've never experienced anything like before. The huge Shinra reactor towering over Cloud as he stoically returns its gaze, holding the Buster Sword, tells you that this story is about taking down a colossal industrial threat, an uprising. This theme of rebellion is in character for the console, being created just to spite big Nintendo and their falling out with Sony.
Get up! Ah! Oh god. Oh. Ah! Ah! Ew! Ew!
Tekken 3. Oh, Tekken 3. Who doesn't love it? The cover art, music, characters, story, even just the character select all scream that late 90s attitude era. Tekken 3's box art is a challenge. Front and center is a newcomer, Jin Kazama. His serious look while he adjusts his gauntlets asks you a question. You ready for this? This departure from the design of the Tekkens beforehand tells you that this isn't going to be the Tekken you've become familiar with. This is different. Tekken 3 was cooler, faster, edgier, and just a really damn good fighting game. I think people remember Tekken 3 so fondly because of its atmospheric cohesion. Tekken 3's vibe is made possible because of how everything contributes to it. The announcer's husky voice saying each fighter's name with maximum coolness.
Chicken.
The character select music. The character select screen. I could go on, but we're already getting off topic here. I don't think we'll see a Tekken game have a distinct vibe like 3, Tag, 4, or 5 ever again. Because that was when the series actually had actual art and story direction instead of making it only about Mishima Cat and Mouse. Tekken 6, 7, and 8. 6, 7, and 8. 6, 7, 6, 6, 6. All boring box arts in my opinion because they all look the same. It's Mishima's front and center with maybe Nina and Paul in the back. That's it. Moving on to the PS2 generation, we have some of the most iconic box arts of all time here. It makes sense because we also had most of the greatest games of all time come from this generation. Katamari Damacy, Snake Eater, Silent Hill 2, Max Payne, and FFX are just a few of my favorites, both game-wise and box art-wise. I think what really makes these covers stand out is how they're all distinct and unique. Like, if I put some random PS2 game covers on the screen and put them next to some random PS5 game covers, you'll see what I'm talking about. You can tell that the developers of this generation were really using the newfound power to really create their own distinct worlds. No PS2, Xbox, or GameCube game looks the same, and the covers reflect that. Final Fantasy X is a good starting place. If I had to choose a game to represent the PS2 as a whole, FFX would be in my top 3 picks. It's so beautiful and clear. Comparing 7 to 10, we went from looking up at a huge looming threat to looking up at a beautiful clear sky over a sunny tropical beach. The theme has been shifted from rebellion to admiration for the world around you. The PS1's generation has ended, and so has that gritty, edgy vibe too. In its place is a newfound wonder of the endless possibilities the future holds for the medium of video games. Developers now could fully realize the vast worlds that had been in their dreams for so long. It's like looking up at the endless blue sky above you, finally able to let your mind run wild with ideas of fantasy and fabled stories from different worlds. Final Fantasy X's box art is a 10 in my books. Another favorite of mine is MGS2. Specifically, the original Sons of Liberty release. It's just so raw, man. Shinkawa's art is just so good. What he does with line, form, and color is so cool. It all comes together to form such unique art that stays in your mind for the rest of your life. Which is why MGS2's box art is so iconic to me. When I think of Metal Gear, I think of this cover. When you look at it, you know exactly what this game is about, or what it wants you to think it's about. Snake is a bit older here, and has a bit of a scowl on his face. It's a change on how he was depicted in MGS1, being an almost emotionless, faceless super soldier that works for the government. Here, he's fully realized, reflecting Snake's acceptance of living life how he wants to. We can see he's not happy with what happened on Shadow Moses, and that gun in his hand shows what he's going to do about that. Before, I said what the game wants you to think about it, because for those of you that don't know, Snake takes a back seat in this game to let the new kid Raiden host a show. The game's cover pretty much actively misleads you to think that this is going to be another outing for Snake. Even the back of the box only has screenshots of Snake's tanker section, which is like only 1 to 2 hours of the total game. I think that this rug pull expectations is pretty cool, if not a little at the consumer's expense. Me personally, I didn't really mind. I learned and liked more about Raiden because his status as a main character allows for his character to have way more attention put into it. If you will say like a side character that showed up a few times to help you out and had some coded calls that just trauma dumped his backstory, I doubt that I'd like them just as much. It's not even like Snake doesn't show up at all in the plant section either. He's pretty prevalent throughout the story, acting as a mentor or teacher for Raiden. Raiden is also just a pretty good stand-in for the player. He knows just as much as you do, and that makes him feel more relatable as you progress through the game's convoluted and surreal story. If Snake had to go through what Raiden went through 1-to-1, it'd kind of feel a bit repetitive because a lot of elements from MGS1 are reused in MGS2. These repeated elements work so well in MGS2 because of how they're subverted due to Raiden being the main character. Things like the Harrier fight, interrogation minigame, and the relationship between Solidus and Raiden all seem fresh, even though they were done by Metal Gear games beforehand. Holy hell, I'm way off topic. And I'm probably going to do it again because this part of the video is dedicated to Silent Hill! The Silent Hill games have always had such cool cover art. Each of them are totally different from each other, but you can always tell that they're from the same series visually. The first Silent Hill's covers are amazing. It's not often I love a game's American and European cover art equally, but SH1 has amazing box art for all regions. America's cover is the most iconic to me though. It showcases the game's dreamlike, surreal atmosphere perfectly. Its collage and meshing of monochrome faces is genius. The longer you look at it, the more details you notice. Like how you can see Dahlia's face in the top right, Sybil's in the bottom right, and Alessa's in the bottom left. It conveys how the town can obscure your deepest, darkest thoughts in the darkness of its shadows. To the untrained eye, all you would see is Harry, Cheryl, and the Gillespie house, representing the surface plot of Harry trying to find his lost daughter. But the faces hidden below the surface allude to a deeper, painful story. The European cover is also pretty nice. It's a render of Alessa suffering through her endless nightmare. This one comes off as a bit more creepy to me. It's like the light in her eyes has been extinguished and you're looking at a dead body. Her mouth is slightly open too. All this shows that Alessa's state is something worse than death. Something that she has to endlessly endure through forever. I like this cover so much I got a shirt fit on it.
What a nightmare.
Oh, it was so bad. I thought I was in a Dave the Dude video. Silent Hill 3's box art is a bit more iffy for me. They definitely could have done better for the American release. Why does Heather look so awkward here? It reminds me of Yakuza 4's American box art. I love the PAL cover art though. It's so haunting and foreboding, like SH1's PAL cover. It gives players with a keen eye a clue about the game's twist, showing that this new protagonist may be similar to Alessa in some way. I really love the Japanese cover art too. This looks like an album cover. They capture the look of the other world of this game really well. Next up, Silent Hill 4. As much as I don't like Silent Hill 4's gameplay, I will say that the atmosphere and vibes are top tier. They designed everything well about this game except the gameplay, which includes the cover art. Holy shit, SH4's PAL cover has so much ore. What the fuck were they feeding the European marketing team at Konami back then? It's only been bangers after bangers. Here, it's almost as if the door to room 302 is locking you away from something heavenly. In this case, aka freedom. Or whatever is locked behind that door would be way too powerful for even human comprehension. The Japanese cover goes for the opposite feeling. The door to room 302 is locking you inside, leaving you to suffer through whatever spirits are roaming Walter's dream world. I don't like the American cover all too much. It comes off as a bit too tacky and in your face. Like, okay, we get it. The apartment's haunted. Why are we yelling? Silent Hill Origins is underrated in its box art and game-wise. It's a 7 out of 10 Silent Hill game. Origins' American box art takes a cake for me. It makes sense because this was the first Silent Hill game to be developed by American-based studio, Climax Games. Travis looks back at the viewer with a hammer in hand. The figure of a lost-looking girl is seen in the distance. Your main character and his motive are set clear as day. Come to the town to save/help said lost-looking girl. The colors here work really well too. The faded effect makes it look like an old photo, helping to show that this game takes place before anything else in the series. This video was written before Silent Hill F was confirmed to be the first game in the series chronologically, so that's on me. That's my bad. The PAL cover is cool, but just doesn't have as much going for it as the American cover in my opinion. The Japanese cover is meh. It looks like they wanted to make a cover that tied in with the 2006 movie. It doesn't really say anything other than the game being about Alessa. Man, everyone likes Silent Hill 2. It's the psychological horror game. Its box art is just as iconic as the game. I like that it puts Angela front and center, with the scene of her looking at the knife. It's probably one of the most memorable scenes in the game. Here, Angela is deciding whether it's better to continue running from her problems, or to end her life. This resonates with the game's theme of either overcoming your trauma, or being eaten alive by it. So, putting Angela and the scene on the cover is a great choice. I also love the grungy effects on here. The green tint to it is just a cherry on top. Again, this would be a great album cover. Also, this gives me another excuse to rag on a remake. Compare the original Silent Hill 2 box art to the remake. It's like seeing one of your best friends become a husk of their former self. Remake is so boring. Like, come on, I'm not even asking for the cover to be one-to-one for the original. There's so much that could have been on here that showed an idea or theme within SH2. But Bloober Team's art department just decided to be boring and make a movie poster instead. It's just James walking to town with Mary's face above him. Yeah, we get it. You look for your wife in this game. This is a trend that's been peeving me as of late. Companies making their games look like boring MCU movie posters. If you compare any long-running game franchises covers to each other, you'll find that the older covers are usually better and more memorable. MW2 to also MW2, RE3 to its remake, Metal Gear Solid 3 to Delta, Tekken Tag to 8. It feels like studios are afraid to take risks and be creative when it comes to game covers, and just games in general. Long gone are the days of your attention being captured by a game's cover in a store, and being convinced to buy it based on how cool it looked. Now we pretty much have no need for a game's cover to convince us anymore. We can just look up a gameplay or watch a review of a game we're interested in. So companies that just say fuck all and put AI's best result on the box. It's a sad truth, but one that can't be helped. All we can do now is reminisce over a lost art, admiring the days of unchallenged creativity and passion for video games.